on a Mac. So if you fire up your KiCad, you should not see anything here. If you don't have any loaded project, yours should be empty here. Say it's not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new project here, and I'll show you how we do start new projects in KiCad. So you just have to fire up your KiCad. If you're on Mac, if you're on Linux, and if you're on Windows, fire up your KiCad. Everything here, everything is just, they are just standards here. That you'll just find file, view, tools. It will be the same in all distributions. So what you do to begin a project, you just come here and say you begin a project, just say new project, go to file, new project, then you'll go to documents, or rather a directory that you wish. There is a directory probably that will be created called KiCad. So here in KiCad now, you can create a project that you wish to do. So for instance, we can call it first KiCad project. So I usually like using underscore, so I'll just say first underscore KiCad underscore project. So I would have created a folder for this, but I'll just start with the fundamentals on how just to begin a very plain project in KiCad. So I'm assuming, so this lecture assumes that guys are fresh. This is someone who is at the entry point of the project. So if you already know how to use KiCad and you have some skills, do bear with us, please. And also let it serve maybe as a refresher course, or maybe there are certain concepts that we are going to do differently into what you do, and maybe you might like them or maybe dislike them. Well, the choice is yours, but please do bear with us if you have prior knowledge. But we will be getting even into more intense concepts. So again, KiCad will ask, if I had a previous project, will ask me if I want to discard, or I'll just say discard, because I don't want to change my project. So what you see here, ideally you'll always get two files here. You'll have KiCad, you get your project name .kicad underscore PCB, and your project name .sch schematic. So this will be the schematic file, and this will be the PCB file. So to begin with the schematic file, so you just have to double click this, and it will fire up your schematic. And this is basically the area that we'll be dealing with when it comes to dealing with schematic itself in KiCad. These are all the tools that are available for us. We'll be going tool by tool, and we'll be knowing how to use each command here, and why and how they are used. Say the hotkeys, how can we fire up these tools now? Rather than just coming here, how can we use our keyboard to interact with such tools? And maybe the first thing that I can show you, concept also not very familiar. Probably we can start with the title block here. You see the title block here will always show the title of your project. It will also show you the sheet that you are at. Like now it's showing us a root. We are at the root, this / here, it's a root. We are the root sheet here, because times we may be dealing with more than one sheet. Like those are now when we will be building our core concepts at the next level, where we'll be now dealing with multi-sheet and how do they interact with each other in KiCad. So here you will find maybe / and going to another sheet. So it also shows the size, because we can adjust this, and I'm going to show you how to adjust this and how to set up here, and maybe make some few notes here in terms of who is designing this. So you'll go to your file here, go file, then go to page settings. Then for the date, you can use custom date or just pick the specific date you are designing. You just hit on these arrows here, and it will immediately fill with the current date here. If you have several sheets, that's why you can hit on export to other sheets. For now, we just have one sheet, so we can just leave it unchecked. So what you're going to do here, and here, KiCad is not as the best here when it comes to how it's going to write here, and you're going to note, because the comment number 4 comes first. Something weird, I don't know, maybe it's a bug in their code. So maybe you can start with the title of the project. For instance, here we are having first KiCad project. So the next thing you can say, like, maybe no, you can go to like project lead. Say you can say who is the project lead. Maybe you can say a name. For instance, say let's assume we have a client by the name Smith. He's the project lead because he's giving us all the directions and regards in terms of the project. Then we'll have designed by. So in this case, say like it's designed by, we could say it's designed by Peter, for instance. I want to go with small case here. And maybe it's, you can also have checked by. If the company itself say has an engineer, a lead engineer, you want to say who checked the code. And so maybe it was checked by Kevin. So it's Kelvin. And the company name. So what's the company name? Not your company, you as the designer, but the owners of the company. So we can call it like Optimus. So maybe that's the name of the company that gave you, and maybe the title itself is the same as this one. So you can just copy this and put it here. Revision, this is what's the rev of this board. What's the version? We can call it version 0.1. And once you hit OK, you see it gets filled here. And the first thing you see is the first KiCad project is the title, project lead, designed by, and checked by who. So this is just good for like documenting your project so that once we fire up your schematic PDF, we can easily see who designed the project, what's the project about, what's the company, and who checked this. Maybe if we need some follow-up and stuff like that. So the first thing you would want to do always, ideally in KiCad, is to load components here on your board. So how do we do that? So